welcome back to the channel, and what I want to do is just talk about this Glock 19X right here that you guys see. So things that I like and dislike about the firearm. Number one, from the factory, what I dislike about the 19X is it's very comparable to the G45. But the problem with the 19X is the magazines that come in this gun, they have a smaller, I'm going to just call it base plate of the magazine. The front of it doesn't go forwards as far. And the reason they do that is because it actually comes with a piece right in here that comes down further on the front strap of the firearm. So if you take like a G17, G45, G34 mag, it will not fit inside the 19X. And I did not like that. I don't want a firearm that can only use certain magazines. So what I did was I filed that piece off so I can still run the factory G19X mags. Or I live in New York State, so this is a 10 round G17 mag. So now I could also fit this magazine inside that firearm as well. And that's really important to me, to make sure that I have a firearm that's a little bit more universal and forgiving on what I'm trying to use with it. The other thing I don't love about the 19X is this gun does not come with front serrations like the G45. Now, that's not a huge deal to me, but the gun is about the same amount of money. So I just wish that it did come with the ability to have those front serrations on there, but whatever, it's not the end of the world. Now, something else about this firearm is that it does have a couple upgrades on it or work that I've done to it. So let's get right into it and talk about it. Oh, before I forget, a pro of the 19X though, since I didn't do any pros yet. One of the pros is it does come in this color, which the G45 does not come in. And I think it's pretty cool. So that's one reason I picked it up, is just to get this flat dark earth color on a Glock platform that I haven't had before. All right. So sights, I did change the sights on this. I always run the suppressor height sights, and the reason why is most of my firearms, I do have an optic on there. So I want to make sure that I could still use backup iron sights if I wanted to, or iron sights if my battery dies or something. Now speaking of batteries, I do actually go with Holosun optics. They do come stock with the solar panels on there. So whether I have a battery inside this optic or not, as long as it's daylight outside or I have some lights down in my house or something that are on, I'm still going to be able to utilize this firearm and that optics. But I do have batteries in there, so it should work. And their battery life is about 50,000 hours, which is awesome. Another thing about this though is if you look close, there's no base plate. So I actually sent this one off. This is not an MOS version. I sent this off, got it cut so I could directly mount that optic there. And the company that did that, they're called Impact Machine. They did an awesome job with this gun here. So thrilled that I sent it out to them. The professionalism, their turnaround rate, everything about the company, just phenomenal. I'll definitely be working with them again in the future. And my heat just came on and out in the barn, so it might get a little noisy in a minute, but that's all right. We're almost done. A couple other things that I did to this. So I'm going to use this just so I can point it out. I already said that I cut that piece off down here. So what I actually did was I filed it off, and I'll move it over so you can take a peek at that in a minute, and I'll use both magazines so you can see why I did it. Now the stippling on here, I did not send this out and get it done professionally with a laser, nothing like that. This is me just using a cheap wood burner from a craft store, and then I put a different tip on there and I just stippled it by hand. So it's not perfect, but for what I utilize it for, that's all I wanted, was something I could use, and that's it. So the other part about this optic here that I really like is this is called the 509T. The 509T has two pieces of glass, one in the front and also one in the rear. Unlike the 507, where the 507 has the one piece of glass, this one having two, if I get dirt or anything in there, it's a lot easier to clean up, which is really nice. So pretty thrilled about that. So let's jump right into the magazines. I'll show you what I was talking about with that. So the two magazines, you can actually see how far this piece comes forward compared to the bottom one. That's why I had to cut this piece off. And you can see what I did. I just filed it down. So that way, if I'm running this in there, it fits in fine. If I run the other one in there, it'll also go in there. But if that piece were to come down any further, it would totally interfere with that, so you wouldn't be able to utilize it. But by just dumping it and getting rid of it, everything does work in it now, and pretty thrilled that I did that to the firearm. That's all I really have for you guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. As always, you know, click like, subscribe, leave a comment. Any of that stuff does help beat those algorithms. So appreciate your support on the channel, guys. Take care.